and welcome to this episode of AI GovCast. I'm Sylvia Oakland, and I'm here at the AI+Expo in Washington, D.C. with Becky, Kobberod from the Smithsonian Institution. Becky, thank you so much for joining me today.
I'm happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I'm really excited. So you said something in a blog post from the Smithsonian that the Smithsonian is a dedicated keeper of unique knowledge, and that's science, art, history, and culture.
Yeah.
So how do you see AI enhancing something so unique like that?
Yeah, it's a great question, and one that we've been grappling with a lot in the recent years, especially with the explosion of Gen AI. People don't realize how large the Smithsonian is. We have nearly 160 million objects and specimens, and those are the objects themselves, but then of course we have a record of what they are and why they matter, right? So there's a lot of data therein around the actual object.
That's not just here in DC either, correct?
No, yeah. So we've got, majority of our collections actually are in the DC area. We have 21 museums, research centers, education centers, many of which are here, but you're right. We've got a lot of our science and research work is outside of the DC area. We have a tropical research institute in Panama, and we have an astrophysical observatory in partnership with Harvard up in Cambridge. So, as well as many other things around the world. We do an incredible amount of work that people don't really think about the Smithsonian, but all of that includes an incredible amount of data, as you can imagine. So when we think about advanced technology and how it kind of fits in with our role as a knowledge source for the world, we see it as a way to accelerate accessibility and discoverability and interoperability of the knowledge that we hold. So we often think about AI in the world of how do we bring what we have online, which a lot of what we have actually is dark and analog still. So we focus a lot of our attention on just digitizing and bringing more accessibility to that kind of ground truth that we hold in our collections.
Yeah, and your office has been around for 5 years. It's going to kindergarten.
Yeah, almost. This fall, we're going to kindergarten.
Oh my goodness, that's so exciting. And you've had some great milestones. I mean, the fact that the office itself was created, the Office of Digital Transformation. Then you had in 2023 this collaboration with Salesforce and using cloud capabilities, correct?
Yeah.
And now you're looking to invest more in AI. And this seems like the logical progression for a lot of agencies, a lot of different research institutions. So do you mind walking us through kind of what's happened in the last 5 years and kind of where we're at right now?
Yeah. Quick story, kind of background and kind of where the office began. It was started in 2021. And if you recall, it was kind of at a time when we were grappling with COVID, and the Smithsonian actually had to close all of their doors. So this was kind of a big moment for them to really reconcile with how do we continue to increase and diffuse knowledge when there's a chance our doors may have to close. So that was a moment where they really felt we need to really go strong in investing in digital. And so my office was created, my role was created, and it was the first dedicated to developing a digital strategy for the institution writ large. And our first focus was how can we know and serve our audiences better? That was a big component of the work, and that's why we started first with our Salesforce work. So we immediately began a process to implement a suite of audience engagement tools to include a CRM, but also, considering the visitor experience with the Smithsonian, you often, some of our museums require passes, and some of them also have events that you may need to register for.
Right.
We also, because we're not a federal agency fully, we are a trust instrumentality, so we can raise funds, so we have donation elements, just ways that the public can engage with us digitally. We realized we needed a different tool set, so we went really focusing in that area first. We're in phase 2, and it's actually launching right ahead of the 250th in July, so we're really excited about that, and we feel really poised to support our visitors better as we expect the National Mall to be a popular place this summer, but also around the world, because people don't realize that the Smithsonian is actually probably in their community and they just don't know it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm very fortunate to live here in the DC area, and I've been able to attend the Folk Life Festival that is hosted on the mall, and that is a very big festival. And so that you mentioned the America250, we're expecting a lot of people to come here and visit us here in the nation's capital. And so how are you using AI to kind of share what's going on with America250?
Yeah. Well, in a couple ways. We identified AI as, again, an area we really wanted to invest in. Obviously, I think as everyone is doing, right? And it wasn't brand new to us. I will say our researchers and scientists had been using versions of AI, machine learning and things for years. You know? So for us, it just became about being very intentional, putting some policies in place, some frameworks to really accelerate our adoption and use of it. So we began to identify ways that we could leverage it for operational efficiencies, things that I think a lot of people have been thinking about. Mm-hmm. But we also started to consider, what might it help us do from a mission standpoint. So one way that we're focused on it as part of the 250th is we actually have a project called Revolution Crossroads, and it is looking at founding materials from the beginning of our nation. So we're right around when the American Revolution was happening. There's an incredible amount of material from that time that sits with the Smithsonian, but also with Library of Congress and National Archives and some of these kind of national institutions that have been holding kind of historical record.
Yeah.
And we're bringing those records together and using AI to look at them kind of in a way together that they never have before. And we're finding people scattered across those records, and we're bringing those records together to tell stories about people that maybe we've never known before. And those are examples of how AI can help us do things that otherwise it would take our curators or our scholars months, if not years, to find those connections. Mm-hmm. We're now able to find them literally in a click of a button. And so it's just really changing what we can learn in our own collections even.
Yeah, I mean, you're taking all of these data points and you're able to align them up and, say, are these all related or are these, something different? And it is such an interesting perspective on the story side and that humanistic side, right? Rather than looking at just numbers or something on a graph.
Yeah. And that's where I think the Smithsonian is so unique, because we are so interested in storytelling, right? We have a lot of stories, and there was a lot of people during the founding of our country. Yes, we know all of the people who are in, our history textbooks that had incredible roles in the founding of our nation, but there were also ordinary people creating communities, new towns, new networks, and those are the stories that may not have been told to their full extent yet. And so there's an opportunity with AI to actually pay attention to them in a way we've not been able to before.
Yeah, there's so much history, and we're at a really good point where we can understand that more. Like you said, we know the stories of crossing the Delaware and of putting tea in the harbor, but there's stuff that's happened right here in the DC area within the local communities. There's stuff that's happened across. It's America250. It's celebrating the entire nation, not just what has happened here in the 13 colonies and on the East Coast.
That's right. Yeah. And that's what's so interesting about when you look at our collections. The Smithsonian has been around for 180 years, not since the founding of the country, but we do have collections that span way back, and they also cover the entire nation and the world, right? So we're not bound by the time of just when America was forming as a nation. We can look back in deep time, right? We have the largest natural history collection in the world, almost 140 million objects and specimens about our world. And so those date back well beyond, they're from all over our country, but they date back from well before we were a nation. And so, again, examples of how the Smithsonian can tell really interesting stories about our country that I think are very unique to us.
Let's go 5 years in the future, and where do you kind of see the Smithsonian going?
Yeah. No, that's a great question. I think that we've been making incredible inroads in terms of our digital transformation so far. You mentioned the Salesforce implementation. So I really do think that we're going to be able to serve our audiences in a really profound way. We're also kind of starting to create new digital products from some of the investments we made. We're just launching also as part of the 250th, a new platform called MySmithsonian, where you can register online with us, tell us your interest, tell us your location, and we'll actually provide you a curated list
Oh, wow.
of Smithsonian offerings from your area. And what people, again, don't realize is that we have affiliates all over the country, museum affiliates, we have traveling exhibitions, we have participatory science. So there are ways to engage with the Smithsonian well beyond DC, and we're using some of our investments to really help the nation find their place and their Smithsonian and their community. But we're also looking forward to, again, how AI can help us accelerate our mission. You know, if you think about our science and research area, we're using AI to find life on planets that we maybe don't know it's there yet. We're using AI to go deep into the rainforest in Panama to hear the sounds from a frog that we thought were extinct.
Yeah.
You know, these are real stories that are happening right now. You know, incredible opportunities to use AI to advance what we know about our lives, about the natural world and the universe. And that's just going to get even more accelerated as the next few years go. And we're excited to see what happens. You know, obviously, I think everyone's trying to understand what the next 5 years look like. I think we're well positioned to leverage it in a way that grounds us still in being a source of truth that the public can rely on. We're never going to waver from that, and they can always expect that what they hear from the Smithsonian has been trusted and verified from our experts.
And I'm so excited to see what happens in these next 5 years. I will be signing up for MySmithsonian.
Thank you. Do it, everyone.
I'm so excited, and I'm so excited to take that back with me for all of my community and my friends. So, Becky, thank you so much for joining us on the show today. I really appreciate you taking the time.
Thanks so much. Have a good one.
Thank you.